Back to my channel. Today we are working on chapter 12, programming challenge 1, and this programming challenge is called sales tax calculator. And our job is to create a GUI, a graphical user interface, that will give the user a text field that they will enter amount of purchase, and then we have to select the sales tax rate, and then we will show the amount of the purchase, the sales tax, and the total. So let's run the program, and I will explain it line by line after that. Here is the GUI. We enter a purchase. Let's say we bought something with $100, and here at the bottom, let's say the sales tax rate is 7%. If it's 7%, it would be $7 for sales tax, and the total will be $107. Let's change the, and this would change dynamically. You know, as we change the sales tax rate, the numbers at the top changes. If it is 10%, it would be $10. If it's lower, it decreases. Let's pick a larger number. Let's say 2,400, and the tax rate is 9%. 9% of sales tax is 2,400. No, not 2,000. If the purchase is 2,400, the sales tax would be $216. But if the sales tax rate is lower, obviously the amount will go down as well. So this is what we have to create in this programming challenge. Basically, we have to learn how to use the J slider in this section. So as usual, I created a class called Scrollable text calculator. This would extend J-frame for the window, and it will implement change listener. Because we have to look for the J slider events. Here we create 4 panels: main panel, purchase panel, result panel, and slider panel. Then we create a label for the purchase and a text field for the purchase. Then we create a label for the amount label for when the person chooses the sales tax. We will show the amount of the purchase and the text field here. And then here is the sales tax label and the text field. Here is a total label and text field. And here is J slider. This is quite new, so let me explain it a little bit more. When you instantiate the J slider instance, you have to give either J slider horizontal, meaning it will go in the x-axis, or you give vertical. In that case, it will go vertically, or the y-axis. Here is the minimum that the slider will start, and here is the max where it will end up. The reason I chose 10 is because of the description they gave for this programming challenge. And here is the value where they will increment in the slider. Here in the constructor for this class, here's the title, and here is the build panel method call, and here we add the main panel to the frame, and we set to the north side of the window. Here we set the size and default close operations, and we set the visible to true. Here we create the build panel method We set the layout and border for the main panel. And here we set the purchase panel layout to grid layout, where it will have a 1 row and 2 columns. And we added the purchase label and the purchase text field. We added a border to the purchase panel. Here we created a result panel, and it will have a layout of grid layout, which would have 3 rows and 2 columns. The result panel would have amount label, and we will add amount label, amount text field, sales text field, and sales text label, the total label and text field. And here we create a result border for the result panel, and here we add a border to the slider panel, the panel that will hold the slider, the title, which would have a title border, it will have a tax as a title. Here we create the slider set minor and major text. The minor would be 1 and the major would be 2. Here we have to paint the label, and we have to paint the text to true, both of them. Otherwise they will not appear. Then we added the slider to the slider panel, and here we add the change listener to the slider. And then here we set all 3 result text fields to not editable, set editable to false, because we don't want people to edit while we run the program. And lastly, in this constructor, we add the 3 panels to the main panel. The first panel would sit on the north side of the panel, which is the purchase panel. The result panel will sit the center, and the slider panel will sit the south side of the panel, of the main panel. Here is the state changed method that we implemented in this class. And if you are wondering where this method came from, whenever you implement this interface, change listener, you have to add to this in your class set change method, and this method basically would execute whenever the slider is interacted with. So here we check. We create a decimal format to format the money or the currency. Here we make sure that the purchase text field is not empty, and then we get the amount that the person entered in the purchase text field, and we parse it in the double class. Here in the sales tax, we get the amount, the value the person chose in the sales tax rate. A slider that get value would give us the tick of the slider that the person chose, and we started in the sales tax here, and in subtotal subtotal is basically the sales tax. We divide the sales tax by 100, and then we multiply it by the purchase amount. And in the total variable, we store the subtotal plus the purchase amount. And lastly, in this method, we set the amount text field and the sales text field and the total text field as the person moves the sales tax. You set here. We can only set the text programmatically because we set editable to false for these three text fields. And lastly, we just create a main method to run this program. So that is it for this program. It works just fine, and it doesn't matter how many how much number you enter, like that number, and you chose, like, let's say 4%. You know, this is the result, and the best part is that it changes dynamically. You know, as you change, as you swipe the sales tax up and down, you the results change here. So I think we accomplished what they asked for. They said we have to give the user a purchase text field, then give the user an option for the slider to choose the sales tax rate, and then show the results. And we did just that. Thank you for watching, and if you find this helpful, please give this video a like, and if you want to see similar videos, please subscribe. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.